Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another Woodshop podcast with Mike Coffey of Coffee Custom Builds, Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, and Peter Kapar of Petrie's Workshop. You can find us all, as well as the podcast, on Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome to episode 157 of Another Woodshop podcast, your perfect place for all of your relationship advice. That is, if you're only interested in working your own wood. What is up, everyone?
This episode of AWP brought to you by Dr. Porkenheimer's Boner Juice. Boner Juice. No,
did you guys get together and coordinate that?
No, but this is great.
This is fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
No, big thanks to Dr. Porkenheimer's, but no, big thanks to our VIP patrons. Actually, all of our patrons. You guys are amazing. But special thanks to our VIP patrons. That's Alex Copa-Johns, Bill Burkle, Daniel Bryson, Justin with Calvary Customs, Christian Tung, Malcolm at Bossa Nova Woodworks, Matthew Hoff, Matt Maynard, Max and Mindy Coons, Michael Flickinger, Michael Lydon, Square Splinter, Steve Iadarola.
Wow.
And that's everyone. So thank you.
Do you know what I love about our VIP patrons?
Well, list one of the things that we love about them. Go.
Just one.
Yeah,
their immense VIP-ness.
They want to show off their VIP-ness.
Yes.
Dr. Porkenheimer's Butter Juice.
By being
Love
read
it.
off at the top of the show.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to show off your VIP-ness, make sure to be a VIP
Thank you
patron.
for enunciating so there's no confusion as to what you're referring to.
Oh, there was confusion?
Dong.
Deputy Dong? Is that what you said?
VIP Dong.
It's a Deputy Dong.
Deputy Dong.
That's my favorite cartoon from when I was a kid, Deputy Dong.
Deputy Dong, so good. Favorite hall pass monitor at my school, in middle school, Deputy Dong.
He shot the sheriff, but he didn't shoot the deputy Dong.
Oh, no. That's not a great version of that. All I have to say to that is...
No!
Sorry, Dan. More work for Dan.
No.
It's a good one.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. We're not gonna.
It's fine.
Yep.
Dan loves when that happens.
Dan loves audio effects, and he's gonna love this.
What's on my bench?
Wow. That was quick.
Yeah, I mean,
fast.
Are we already there?
I feel like we're missing something.
Is there something we're missing?
Don't we usually interview like a guest at this point?
Yeah. Hey,
tell
me about you.
Dan's background. You're new here.
Hey, Dr. Porkenheimer. When did you get started in boner juice medications?
Was it hard?
Anyway, was it hard to get into the boner juice world?
I'm gonna need you to replay the sound effect.
How was the stiff competition?
Okay.
Oh God.
Jimmy! I say you come for my mom. Did you get my
don't have to play it. I mean, you don't have to put it in there, Dan.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just be silence and us laughing afterwards.
Us laughing, giggling. I think it's a great idea. I think we just leave it out. Dan, what's on your bench?
Dan, that's you.
Oh,
Dan.
I'm first.
Dan reads his. What's on?
I don't read. I don't take notes.
And we have
I do this all off the cuff, you guys. That's how pro I am. I do this all on the fly, which is probably why you guys have a bigger what's on my bench than me usually.
This is
anyway
what stalling looks like.
Joseph Stalling.
Uncle.
Is it too soon for that reference? I'm sorry.
Papa?
So last week, the day after we recorded, so that'd be Friday, I delivered the daybed porch swing. Look, if you don't watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you don't get that, and you should. It's great.
Bozo.
Mike's rendition of that is actually pretty good. It makes me go like a school girl every time. Yeah, I delivered that and it turned out amazing. I'm super, super proud of that. I would like to make more, so I'm just going to throw that out in the universe. Hit me up. I need money. No, yeah, that turned out really good. The client actually just sent me some finished pictures today. It was finished, but they didn't have like their finishing touches on it. They put pillows and blankets and stuff on it. It looked really good. So I posted those today, and it really came out great. I'm really super proud of it. And then Etsy always keeps me busy. Although I was just talking to Pete before the podcast started, and sales are a little down. I'm a little nervous.
I literally said this last week that this is a quiet time of the year for a lot of people.
And he's correct.
Okay.
He's correct. It is a quiet time. I only had like 45 orders last week, which is probably a good amount for a lot of people, but I've come to rely on getting 70, 75, 80 a week. And when you're kind of used to that, and you got somebody working with you and you're trying to take care of everything, it gets a little concerning. So I've been doing everything I can to boost sales and run ads and whatever. So tune in next week to see how that's going. I also developed a new table, like a little narrow, like apartment size table today. I feel like that's a pretty good market to tap into, like furniture wise, like apartment sized or small space saving size stuff. So I'm gonna kind of go after that.
Easier to ship.
Yeah, easier to ship. Plus, I feel like a lot of people would be interested in that stuff. So I made this little narrow table that's pretty stylish. I whipped it out on the CNC. I put it together. It took me like 30 minutes total. It was fun. And I made it out of mahogany, which has become like one of my new favorite woods to work with. It is just so gorgeous.
It's like buttery and gorgeous.
It's buttery, and I love the grain in it. It's so ribbony. And when you put finish on it, like an oil-based finish, it just really comes to life like walnut does. So, I made that. If you want one, go buy one, please. My kids need to eat. I think that's it. It's just been another standard week. Oh, I will say this. My wife and kids are out of school for the summer. So that's fun.
Sweet.
That's exciting. No, that's not happening. But I did change the work hours of my shop from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. because I want to sleep in a little longer.
Oh, I thought you were just working for 1 hour every morning and that's it.
No, Jesus, no. No, I told Isaiah, I was like, Isaiah, dude, it's officially summer, so like nobody's waking up.
Yeah, we're just going to get 1 hour done and then that's it. Call it a day, dude. You got to go home.
Instead of starting at 8, we're starting at 9 because, summer, and I need a little reprieve. So that's what we're doing. I think we're going to go camping next week, which we haven't done.
We haven't camp.
Yeah, we haven't done that.
No.
We haven't done that all year. So
We
usually go like the day after Memorial Day, because Memorial Day weekend at parks is stupid busy. So we always go the Tuesday after because there's nobody there. And it's fantastic. So that's what we're doing. We're going to go camping Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly Thursday. And basically taking the whole week off next week because Isaiah's going down to Florida to look for places to live. He's moving away from me. So
that's illegal.
He's out again, huh?
The ocean calls him, so he needs to go down there. His lease in his apartment is up in September. So
does he know that Nebraska is happily landlocked only state or whatever?
Are you just throwing out words that sound smart?
It's contingent on the ocean.
Munchausenly landlocked.
No, I showed him some of the big lakes around here, and he's like, "No, that's not good enough." I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever."
Just afraid of he's afraid of a big wave. That's all it is.
No, I think he wants a big wave. That's the problem. Anyway, Mike, what's up with you?
Released a YouTube video last weekend, and it's the best performing YouTube video I've had. I'm so excited about it, and like I don't know.
It's crazy how that works.
Doing well. Yeah, I've been so excited about YouTube for months, but this felt really good. That one, like the energy was good. Everything about it felt good.
Do you have any idea why that resonated with your viewers?
Really weird. I think because I had high energy. I think it was concise. A lot of information delivered quickly in a high energy way.
It was that's true.
But like, what's so weird about that one? And someone wrote in one time and was like, "Oh, YouTube talk if you don't like it, I don't care. Like, tough. This is my show, so I'm gonna talk about what I want to talk about on here. So someone like wrote and was like, I don't know, YouTube. Anyway, I'm excited about YouTube. So pound sand. But the metrics were so weird. 40% of the views came from Google search. I was talking to people in my like YouTube groups I'm in, and like everyone's like, I've never seen that. 40% of the sub 20,000 views were from Google search. So I don't know if I got lucky and nailed the keywords and SEO right, and people were just looking up CNC.
Yeah.
And we're getting that video first, but I was getting, the traffic was insane. I'll pull it.
That's crazy because there's so many other CNC videos out there.
Right? I don't know because I hit the right time or what, but the analytics on it were nuts.
It just goes to prove that you have no idea how this works.
Right. And so that was great. And I don't know if that's pushing a bunch of traffic to other stuff, but other videos are doing really well too. So that's really cool. I got a big lathe last week. Like it is huge. Huge lathe. You're
gonna turn a lot of bats?
I'm probably gonna do a lot of bowls, and it'll just be for me. Like it won't be for the business. It's just gonna be for me. I mean, Sean knows how to turn. Sean, like, I've had to like
male cows.
Yes, I love the look of a bovine on the shelf. You know, and you just can't get them to come out right unless you turn them on.
You ever turn a ribeye bowl?
I got nipples, fucker. You turn me.
That's a great Dunder Mifflin joke.
It's a great classic Dunder. DMJ. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm really excited about that. But Sean, I've had to have Sean like turn some stuff for the company, like on his at home on his lathes, and now we can have one for him to do that there. But we're gonna do a video on Sean teaching me how to turn, which is really cool. So that'll be like I'll be the
if there's not a lot of yelling, I'm not gonna watch.
I have an idea for the thumb and like the final shot. It's like I'm taking like a huge log and I turn it down to a pin, but I'm like the last shot is it's panning out and like I'm covered up to like my nipples and like sawdust shavings and like all
which
I take
is like
the pin
one
off.
dump from your dust collector.
Yeah, and I like take the pin off and I like walk away, but I'm not wearing pants or underwear. It's just my butt cheeks, and I walk out of the pile of sawdust, and that's the final shot in the video.
That's assless chaps.
I love it, but that's very Pat Lappish.
Peter was like, "I'm not filming that, dude. I'm not filming that." I was like, "All right, fine." But I thought it'd be a good video.
Sounds like
Peter's all like, "I got standards."
Yeah, Peter's like, "We're not putting that on the channel."
I would film that. Guess we know who's a better Peter, huh?
Yeah, the Peter off.
I'm not afraid of other Peters, unlike him.
You should have a real Peter off.
Yeah.
I designed this base at the Festal Furniture Build Off, and I've been using the base on different things and applying it to different stuff with different displays and different variations and stuff. And I have this the slab is beautiful. Like the grain is beautiful, but the slab shape is really ugly. And I almost cut it down and like just cut off all the live edge and got whatever lumber I could get out of it because it really is just such a weird shape. So I started building this base for it. And it's a reminder that like what you see in your head and what happens in reality is oftentimes not the same thing. Yes. Like it looked horrible. Like I put this base on this slab. And I'm like, oh God, this is super bad. Like this looks terrible. Like I took the base apart. I threw it in the trash pile, but it was ugly, man. It was super ugly. So like I don't know. I drew it out and I was so frustrated at how bad and how ugly it was that I like had to sit down because I've been wanting to do a modern Adirondack chair design without like looking at any other Adirondack chairs. So I finally designed one, and it's sick. It looks very modern. We're gonna do a video on that too. So I'm really excited about the look of it. It looks really cool.
So I made a quote unquote Adirondack chair recently. I got plans from April Wilkerson. Yeah. What defines an Adirondack chair?
I have no idea.
I don't either. So when I posted that chair to Reddit, they were all like, "Well, it's not an Adirondack chair. I wouldn't call it an Adirondack chair." I'm like, "What defines?"
Yeah, well, they don't.
Does anybody know?
No one knows.
I don't know, but I'm currently doing show notes, and apparently I can't spell Adirondack.
Adiro.
Oh no! I got it. There's a secret I in there.
I just texted you guys the design of the Adirondack chair, but
I'm gonna write that off.
Adiron.
Yeah, ADI.
Yak.
So anyway, let's just start making that. I'm gonna do a video on that and have fun with that. So what else we got going on? Oh, it got like so busy. Like January was like December was crazy. Like the end of last year was nuts. And then January was kind of busy. And then February, March, April was slow. And I was like, oh, this is scary. Like
Remember you fired all your staff.
This is scary slow. I was I mean, luckily I had kept a lot of money in the bank account, and but I was like, oof, this is getting real slow. Uh-oh, like my funny money's starting to get thin. But then I don't know what just happened. Like I had a huge job come up, and then I accepted it, and then a million projects have come up. It's just been insane. Like I'm booked out so far again now. So I mean, it did this last year, but I guess maybe with more overhead it's a lot more scary. I don't know. But it was interesting. But yeah, I got a bunch of projects coming in. We did I designed this, those like label printers, those 4x6 label printers we all have for shipping. I've got a few of those. I designed a little shelf for it on the laser. So because I have a few of them like stacked for different things. I have one that does 4x6s, one that does 2x2s, and then one does 1x2s. So they all do different things.
Look at you, so Mr. Moneybags, have 3 different printers where you don't have to switch them out.
Big flex.
Yeah, it's just so much faster for like shipping to some of these big companies. But anyway, I made a tower for all 3 of them because they were like taking, they're all sitting on the desk. They're taking up so much space. So I just stacked them, and I made
like the paper behind them. They take up so much space. It's
so much space. So I made a tower to hold the printers, and I made a tower behind them to hold the paper, and it takes up like so much less space. Anyway, it was a fun little like laser design. It was cool. Had a good time with that. And I'm working on this desk right now. My desk, I am in love with this desk. I cannot wait for me to finish this desk. It's gonna look so sexy when it's done.
That reminds me.
I'll throw it to you next. We're filming that video.
Back to Dan.
Sunday. I'll throw.
I always get reminded.
Mike,
I
can you start going notes. Forward? Dan goes last, because otherwise you'll forget.
So you can remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why you guys have me go first. What the heck?
Bozos, straight up bozos. And then, fun tip. This is something I've done before. When you're making signs, like 3D signs where you have letters you're carving out, use the same vector that you use to cut out the letters out of wood to make, if you have a laser.
Make a stencil.
I mean, if you have a laser, to make your stencil for it. So I did this. This is how I've done them in the past, but it just makes things go so quick and easy because you just lay it down and it has your perfect stencil for laying in your parts, and everything's perfectly laid out. So doing some signs for a coffee shop right now, and they are some sexy looking signs too. They're gonna be cool. They requested walnut that is ebonized. I was like, why don't we just use any other wood? They're like, we want it to be walnut. I was like, all right.
I had somebody do that with those C tables that I make.
Yeah, it's like whatever you want. We'll make it however you want. You're paying the same price.
Yeah. If you're paying for it, I'll do whatever you want.
Do it up.
You want me to do it?
I'll do anything you want.
I'll do anything for money.
And then a very big opportunity came across this week for a very big job that I'm very, very hopeful for. And man, it would be so sick. So working on that job, and it's going to be
the new Oscar Mayer Wiener Mobile.
It's actually called the Frankenmobile now. And that's
that
what
is
we're
true.
Making. We're doing a bent lamb Frankenmobile for Oscar Mayer. Did I tell you guys in the group?
I think so.
No.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks.
Coffee Custom Builds is doing the Oscar Mayer Frankenmobile, the new one. It's a full bent lamb. That's Osage orange for the wiener. I mean the Franken. And then we're doing Bloodwood for the logoing. And then they requested
And
the veiny Franks.
And because it's a long haul engine, so they call it the Frank Further.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, the veins are blue stain pine.
Speed veins.
Beetle killed pine.
It's we have to cut out very specific parts of the pine. It's very weird. No, it's not that.
It can go really fast for 10 to 15 minutes tops.
Yeah, sadly,
it needs about 2 hours to recharge.
It's not the Oscar Mayer Frankenmobile. It's that would be nice. I'd love to have my name tagged to that project.
Yes, that's it.
Who wouldn't?
Dan, back to
honestly.
you.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention something. Oh, you said desk. Yes.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'm actually headed to a local doctor's office. They want a whole new like reception desk. So I'm gonna go there and meet with them and write up something and give them a quote. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. This could be
I'm doing a reception desk.
pretty big project. So
That's good, dude.
yeah,
This
I'm
one
excited.
is crazy because we have to do the one we're doing. It's all out of maple ply. It's interesting.
Really?
The whole thing.
Gross.
Well, it's really super ultra modern. It looks like
They want
No.
this place wants a quartz top.
nice. You're not supplying that though.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Don't.
see what I can pull out of my
Just don't.
rear end.
Please
Don't do it.
Just,
Yeah, just don't do it. Just
I'll
be like,
probably
"Yeah, you need to
sub
hire
it
someone
out.
else."
I'll sub it out.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
that's
I don't know. It all remains up in the air. I'm going to go and talk to him tomorrow and meet with him and do a little job walk. So that's exciting. I'm
that
excited
is
about
exciting. Hopefully that goes
Anyway.
well, man.
that. I'm sorry. Pete can go now.
Oh.
It's my turn.
I
Hey.
suppose. It is your birthday week.
It is my birthday week.
You look great for 62.
Thank you. I'm celebrating my anniversary of 30. My 5th anniversary of 30. It's great. So yeah, it's fun. I get to check off a new box now that when I fill out forms, it's 35 to 45 or whatever. So yeah, I had my birthday yesterday. It was super fun. I worked and then I just relaxed. So it was hella lame. But this weekend I get to do fun stuff. Aside from that, I did something I was neglecting yesterday. So like I ignored my to-do list and did stuff I wanted to do for like weeks now, which was, and it's gonna sound super lame, but I did 3D printer maintenance. I fixed one of my Prusas because I was just like, I just want to tinker.
That sounds like super
I
exciting.
know, but it's one of those things where like, you know, when you have a to-do list of important stuff and you ignore it and do other semi-important stuff and justify it in your brain that like, well, I'm still doing important things. It's just not the thing that I need to redo. That was basically that. I just ignored all the important stuff. I'm like, hey, let me like do some maintenance. Let me just hang out. Let me watch some TV and do this. So anyways, got 2 of my printers fixed up. So I'm back to 100%. We're prepping for and I can officially say this today out loud because apparently so Emma teaches at
The end of the world.
No, Emma teaches at a dance school. Apparently some of the dads are woodworkers and they listen to this podcast. So now I can officially just say that like Emma's retiring. She's done. She's done teaching those little great balls of joy.
That's my nickname too.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is though, Emma invited all the company kids and the staff, and it's like 60 to 80, maybe plus people that got invited. So far, we have about 50 that are SVPDS.
And Mike got an invite and I didn't.
Yeah, Mike's coming too. He's flying in for it. So we have this like a mega barbecue that like I wasn't really 100% ready for. So I have to make a couple of things for it. Because like the last cornhole set I ended up selling off after I made it. So we're gonna make a new one. And
Man, if you only knew somebody who can make one real fast.
actually David Wirtz he offered to send me the file for the CNC, so I might just cut it out and do that. If you do that, yeah. I'll message you, Dan. I'll have Emma message Kayla and then we'll connect.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, yeah, I'll have my people.
Don't talk to me directly.
Yeah, no, that's rude. Who does that? So yeah, we have this barbecue. We went to Costco and I spent like a fortune on food. That was super fun. But I'm hoping that like not everyone shows up or not everyone eats all the stuff we got, and I just have like frozen burgers and hot dogs for the next like
Giant bowl of spinach dip.
I just want a big hot dog bowl. Just have a big
Eat
old
a lot of hot
bowl.
dogs today? No, why?
Why? You have mustard on your shirt. You reek of hot dogs. So aside from that, I'm finally done with all the like the landscaping stuff. That it was finally warm enough to do some planting. So we put stuff in the garden. Today I was working on. I put these like posts on the corners of my deck, and we ended up hanging these. They call them sun sails. So basically, it's just big shade sails, big triangular shade sails. So I got one of them up today, and then tomorrow I got to put up the other one. But we got all the anchors and stuff, so got to figure all that stuff out.
What's it like having a yard that you're proud of?
It's great. It's
Is
really
it?
nice.
I was
Can't wait to show you in
hosing off.
October.
I was hosing sawdust off my driveway today. I'm that guy in the neighborhood.
It's fine, but at least you made some friends, Dan.
Did
You
I
know what I'm talking
know?
about? I think you're famous on YouTube. If you don't know
At
what I'm
least
talking
one
about, listen to her
woman thinks I'm
pre-show.
famous.
Or she thinks you have a YouTube. Technically, she didn't think you're famous. She just assumed you had a YouTube. You have YouTube energy.
She's not wrong.
That's like the most like legit insult in 2023. You have like YouTube channel energy, Dan. Aside from that, I'm just getting everything prepped for the mini split install. I'm hoping to pour the pad this weekend and get that sucker in the next few weeks. But the thing that's really slowing it down is we're also prepping a lot of stuff we have a vendor event in a week and 3 days.
Every time you say prepping, I vision like a cellar, a bunker. Yes.
Yeah. A lot of pickled fish.
Like
herring,
big giant cans of like pickled mushrooms.
I
whatever.
pickle my own dad jokes. Yeah. So they're stored on a shelf and I open one up every quarter and it, like a little joke comes
Throw
out.
it at Emma's face.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a fart. That's all it is, a big old fart. God dang it. Oh, we got a vendor event in that sound. But yeah, we have that vendor event. I'm mostly stocked from the last one. I have enough stuff where I was like, all right, I'm not worried this time, but there's still a couple things I want to do. Because I feel like
you reminded me of something else.
Yes, you helped Brayden with his vendor event. That's nice. But that's it. You just like a lot of like mini projects, no big commissions, nothing going on. I don't have like 15 tables to build like Mike or sell $20,000 this week like Dan on Etsy. I have a very lame week. And then I just got drunk on my birthday. That's it. Dan, you have something else?
Yeah. I helped Brayden from Little Bud Woodworking do a craft fair. That was fun. He asked me to come along as eye candy, obviously. You've seen me, right?
Fine piece of ass, Dan Dunlap.
But I was charming AF and I was a salesman and it went well. We had fun.
Hello. Would you like to smell my rag?
Yes, exactly. And I got a Chick-fil-A sandwich, so it was all good. It was all good.
Dope.
That's it.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Good stuff, Dan.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I was happy to add that.
We're all happy for it. This next one, well, actually, this is the first one, I guess. We're out of what's on our bench. That was a weird transition, but I'm going to make it more awkward by doing this. Bush. Anyway, the first question is from Tama. The first question is from Tama. This is a really great question, finally, after a year of calling in. Just kidding, Tama, you're the best.
And can you feel the
French?
Hey guys, let's talk about content making. I know we are all trying to please the great algorithm god, but here are my thoughts tonight. Aren't you afraid of losing the pleasure of making stuff because you have to film and share every single thing you do in the shop? Also, I don't know if you have seen the last reel of Luke in the Garage where he jokes about stretching content. Don't you think we are doing ourselves by posting about anything? I feel like we are more posting for the sake of the algorithm to the detriment of quality. I mean, Eric Spenceley made several reels on opening a box and leveling a table. I have nothing against him, but can't we do all better? Sorry for the rant, I guess that's what you get when I really think about a question. Alright, bye guys.
He's saying, is content becoming more about quantity than quality, basically? I mean,
and then are you afraid of losing the passion, I guess, with having to keep up?
Not at all. Let me first say this. Like, if you follow Luke in the Garage, because he brought up Luke in the Garage and how he's doing his whole series on how to stretch out content. If you don't understand that what Luke is doing is completely satire, you need to. I mean, Luke is a hilarious guy, so he knows what he's doing. But yeah, back to the question. I don't worry about losing passion for content because I don't do what I do for content. Content is just secondary to what I do. I'm still gonna do, woodworking and do my thing. So content is just secondary. I don't show everything that I do. I probably should, but I don't. I just don't worry about it so much. I have enough worries in my life. I don't need to worry about, how my IG is doing, how my YouTube's doing, how my TikTok is doing. It's not up there on the priority list. I do it when I have time or when I feel like it. Mike, what are your thoughts?
I think that a couple of things. So I think last year and probably for a year before that, literally Instagram wanted you to put up content as much as you possibly could to grow. And I think the algorithm was really encouraging. Just like there was like, what was the trend? Like, that's a reel. That's a reel. I think it was literally just like anything you could, as long as you were putting content on the algorithm and fulfilling it that way, it was going to push you. And I think that everyone was quickly burned out on that. I know I am. I just don't. I'm like almost wholly checked out on Instagram. It's like, I'm really just, Instagram is not, I love the community there, but it's like the content. I don't think I've posted this week, honestly. Like, I don't think I have. And I'm not stressing about it because honestly, I'm finding that when I'm posting to post, I hate that. I now hate doing that. Like, I feel like I'm doing it because I feel I have to. And now that with however it is right now, or I think it is, I feel like you're getting rewarded for keeping people on the platform, which means making better content. So now when I'm making better content, those videos are actually starting to hit. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm only going to put up content when I've got something worth sharing on Instagram. And that's what I'm going to do. So, I mean, I'm still going to do stories as much as I can, but for Instagram content, I don't really want to do that. And then for YouTube, I mean, I'm not going to just post up YouTube videos. They're too hard to make. So for sure, they're going to be a value. I'm going to try to make it a value proposition and try to make it something that's a value to the watcher. So I think 100% that there are people just putting up stuff to put up stuff. And I really like Eric Spenceley a lot. He's a great guy, but I just don't go on Instagram. So I don't even know what he's putting up, to be honest. So I can't speak to that, but I really like Eric Spenceley. So, but I don't think Toma was attacking him.
Where did Eric Spenceley come from?
That's part of the
question.
question.
About him.
Oh, did he? I thought he was talking about Luke in the garage.
He did mention Luke.
Oh,
he said, then he flipped it in French for a little bit and then came back.
Oh, I didn't hear him mention Eric.
So I got to read
that.
Yeah,
he said, I mean, Eric Spenceley made several reels on opening a box and leveling a table. I have nothing against him, but can't we all do better? And I think he's right.
I missed that. I thought he was talking about Luke.
He wasn't earlier.
He was. It's all the same vein. I mean, it's all the same vein. And I don't care to watch a box up unopening, and I don't think anyone. But honestly, let's just call a spade what it is. Let's just call a spade what a spade. I mean, he got that. He probably got that from Harvey, and he was obligated to make some content for them. That's the bottom line. Yeah. So he put some content out, and
we've all been there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like, yeah,
it is what it is.
It's not great. I mean, try to make good content around it. Yeah, it's a good argument, Toma. Pete, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of in a camp of Mike right now with like, we went on a vacation. I was just kind of reposting whatever. I just hit 100K and it was like 100K and like 500 subs, right? And like right now, everyone's like, oh, I got my check mark and now my views are through the roof. I'm like, yeah, I'm paying for my check mark. Some people that are like, they're convinced that's what it is. Like, it's not some video popping off. Like, no, I paid for it. Like, no, I am paying for it. And I'm currently fighting to stay above 100K. I am 135 people away from dropping to 99K again. Because it's slipping backwards now. Now, I haven't really been posting a ton because like I haven't been like working on any projects that I'm like really passionate about. I just want to throw some content out. And like Mike says, like I'm not like, Instagram's not really making me feel it. Like I'm not like super excited about it right now. And I was really excited about the 100K, but like I really wasn't seeing the views that I was wanting to see or the engagement. It was just like a reel popping off, And I don't know. I just like right now I'm not super passionate about content, but yeah, I'm kind of focusing on it because like I want to stay above the 100K. Like honestly, if I was like 103, like I wouldn't really care so much. But like the fact that I'm gonna drop over this like threshold, I'm kind of more paranoid about it. As far as like, what you do, I think, a lot of us like, oh, you get to a certain point and then you're like, you don't care about content. Like, no, most of us are super self-conscious about what we post until we hit a certain milestone. And then we feel like we can do whatever we want because we have an established audience. And that's what these guys are doing. They're just having fun with it now because they were finally feeling fully confident with their platform. And a lot of us don't. And some of us, like even going up to like 100K, still don't feel confident with our platform and feel like we have to curate our stuff. But like the people that are really just having fun are winning here. Like they're just having a good time. And yes, if you're trying to make money with it, obviously if you're trying to get brands on board, you need to kind of curate that a little bit, but like just have a good time with it. And yeah, burnout's a real thing. I think we all go through a little roller coaster rides. Sometimes we're loving it. Sometimes we hate it, you know? So
I do want to say that I love making content. I just don't care about Instagram. Instagram's
not rewarding to me right now.
It's just not rewarding. It hasn't been for a very long time. And I'm actually doing well on Instagram right now. I just don't care. Like, it's not that. I'm trying to just enjoy it. Like, Instagram is going well for me right now, objectively, but I really don't. I find that if I just make myself enjoy it, it's just better. Like now, I'm happy with where I'm at on Instagram. I don't need to see a big number growth over there. I just kind of want to do what I want to do over there. I want to like actually put out content that is of value. And that's really what I want to do I'm not just going to throw stuff at the wall anymore. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
It just sucks to like go negative if you're not posting aggressively.
Right. I think that's the problem with having hitting a milestone off the back of a single post doing well. It's tough because what happens is, especially if it's a post that isn't, it's a post that isn't necessary. This is why I don't want, like, you put up a lot of content that's kind of all over the place. Like, you're not just like solid woodworking. And this isn't a dig.
I know, but we've all gotten
Pete,
that.
Let me just say this. You post what you're doing, which is great. You should do that. You should do what you're doing because that's who you are and that's what you do. But your content is not shoehorned into like woodworking. It's in these other things: digital fabrication, laser work. I think that one was you cutting foam, if I remember straight.
One of them was foam. Yeah,
it's like something and I would argue that that's a throwing content up kind of a situation, and that's fine. It did well, so it's good. This is not. I promise you, this is not a criticism. The problem is when you get, what'd you get, like 9 million or some views, some crazy bonkers number, right? It was like a huge number of views. 35 million. 35 million views. The problem is when you have that many people view a thing, no one's making foam cutting content. That's the problem. Like when I had that.
Yeah, they see the thing they were interested in. When you post something else,
the rest of your content isn't that. They're like, oh, this guy isn't just foam cutting.
I was here for the foam cutting content.
This is an exclusive foam cutting content. Yeah, and it's
this is BS. He works with wood. I want
I got duped by big foam again.
Yeah, we've all seen that when we have a video pop off. It does
like,
well, and then you post something else, and you're like, oh, there's the backslide.
Do they have their foam number one fingers to throw them in the trash?
I think like the problem with it is when you're doing, like for me now, that's why I don't want to just put whatever up. I'm trying to put stuff up that's like in line with what I'm doing. And that way that when I do have one hit, it's in line with what I'm doing. So there's no surprise for the new audience. I think that's all I'm trying to say with that. Like when you have those videos go right. And that was like the whole culture of Instagram for a solid year was like, that's a reel, put up a reel. Oh, you sipping some chocolate milk. That's a real. It's like super dumb stuff. Like everyone's putting up super dumb stuff.
That's my problem with it. Like right now, I haven't really been posting a lot lately because of like, there's nothing that I'm working on that's like great content that I feel like I want to put out there. Like I had these videos pop off.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
And I'm not putting out that much, but meanwhile the number's sliding down. It's like, and I'm gonna hit 99K. I'm gonna slide back. Whatever. I'm just gonna.
It doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah, I'm just gonna work it back up over 100K, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, congrats on 100K!" Like, yeah, thanks again. Cool. Thanks.
Bottom line is, we currently, I think all three of us, we post what we want when we want. That makes us happy. Yeah, we don't worry about it so much.
Yes. This next and final question is from
Well, that's it.
All
This
two
is
of
it.
them.
yeah, this is it. I don't know if I should do the series.
You're gonna make the robot read it.
but I don't know if Dan
Robot.
can get that audio. I don't know
I
how
can.
that would
I've done
work,
it
so-
before.
Oh, you have?
gotcha.
Okay, well then I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
It takes
I'm
me
gonna have her-
several hours, but I can do it.
Oh no, then I'll read it.
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Oh, okay. That
But
seems
please
long.
read it.
All right.
ChatGPT
My
joke.
question is related to cost analysis in the product development. How often do you review the actual cost for both new and existing products, considering factors like production and one-off custom items? How do these actual costs typically compare? Typically compared to the estimated cost? I'm curious to learn about your experience and any strategies that you might employ to ensure accurate cost estimations. Thank you and keep up the fantastic work. Dan, are you evaluating your?
I'm gonna be honest. Questions like this make me feel like I'm failing as a business because I don't
Less
do
of a
any
man.
I don't do any of
Inferior?
those things. I don't run spreadsheets and do cost analysis, or I'm just throwing wet noodles at the wall and seeing what sticks, y'all. I'm just looking at my stats on Etsy and doing like a quick once over and being like, okay, that's working, that's not. I'm not doing anything, crazy like what he's saying. So, Pete,
Well, we literally talked about this last week when Jake Miller called in with the economy question.
oh yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, but like yeah, and the answer was yeah. Once in a while, you should look at your numbers and be like, does this make sense? Like I'm still charging this same amount for this cutting board, this table, but
I'm
Walmart
looking at
costs
my
me
numbers,
double.
but I'm not doing like spreadsheets and analysis
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. That seems like overkill for what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, and obviously you don't. Well, here's the thing, it can make sense, and I mean, large companies do this all the time, where they actually look at their numbers, they look at what's costing them what, and they figure out where they can improve,
Yeah.
where they can make money.
Like multi-million-dollar companies look at this stuff and they're okay, where can we save pennies on a
Yeah,
certain thing?
and-
But that will add up.
That's the thing.
Right.
It adds up. So for a lot of us, yes, it can add up in certain ways. It's good to look at these numbers once in a while, but like, the large companies are looking for pennies. We're looking for dollars in savings per thing. So,
I like that.
if something makes a small difference, we're really not going to change our, I like this type of box when I ship better. It's got a nice finish to it. It feels really solid. The cheaper ones feel cheaper and I don't want to use those. Like for us, like, you know what? I'll absorb an extra 10 cents a package. Like that's fine. Yes, it'll add up. But like when you're talking about 1 million packages in a year, that starts really adding up. But when you're talking about 100 of that box being sent out in a year, yes, it still makes a difference, but it's not going to tip the needle. And if you want a certain quality of something, it makes sense to keep that. So yeah, I mean, look at those numbers once in a while. I think it's good to look at what things are costing you, or even just like figuring out what like cost of your time is for certain things. Because especially with woodworking, like what does it cost you to sand something for an hour? It's hard to dial that in, but like if you figure out that like this little side table took you 12 hours to make, like how much of that was each part of the process, and like is it worth for you to do? Are you selling that for $100, or are you selling that for $1,200? And now that kind of makes sense for you to do it. So it's okay to look at those numbers, but don't kill yourself. Like don't go over the top. But review them once in a while.
I will say this. I'm going to interject one
Please
real quick.
interject.
I did take a look at so we use the drum sander a lot in my operation, especially when it comes to zero clearance inserts. I will cut them on the CNC and then I drum sand them to the perfect thickness, and that gets me to where I want. So I was using 80 grit, and I decided we should try 120 grit. It doesn't sound like a huge difference, but like I went from a non-finished surface to a finished surface by saving a little bit of time with the zero cost. So like I did the analysis kind of like in my head, and the cost savings was negligible, but the time saving was like a huge factor there. It's just something I did recently, which I hadn't brought up before. So that actually kind of makes sense now. Sorry, Mike, you can go now.
Thank you, Mike.
So I'm like the owner, and I do all the marketing. I'm the sales guy, and I'm the main
There's
shop
a
person.
munchkin running around your truck.
I keep seeing people run around in your background.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do all these things, and like like lately these days, it feels like I'm doing sales all the time. Like I'm selling all the time lately. And so I'm the estimating department too. So I have to bid on all these jobs that we're doing. And honestly, like I'm bidding a lot of work, and I'm not questioning my bidding, but I want to know, I'm at this point now where I'm like, I need to see that I'm doing this well. And I feel like I feel like I'm pricing my work right. But so I've actually been job costing materials now, which I can do with my software that I have with Jobber. I can like cost things over, and we can tie things. We give like costing codes now. My bookkeeper does that now. That's what she does. Like when I have an item we buy, like today I just went and bought like 32 pairs of undermount slides for like 4 jobs we're doing. And I mean, those are $35 a pair. I mean, that's a lot of money, 32 times 35, whatever that is, $1,000. I had to like cost that out between 4 jobs or something. So, because I am pretty sure I factored that in when I did the quote, but I want to start seeing that. Like if I'm missing some of these things, and I know what I pay for plywood, I know what we use this is for cabinet work. We use all maple ply, I mean, with pieces of furniture, like table pieces and stuff, a lot of like tables, a lot of it's like slabs. So I can't like just pull a price out. I can pull a safe number out, but I try to actually not make too much money on the slabs. So what I'll do is I'll call my slab yards and have them get me pictures and prices. And then I'll present the pictures to the client and tell them, hey, this is how much the slab is. And I only mark it up like 15%. Because I'm not trying to make money on the wood. I'm just trying to make money on the labor and the actual product. So we cost all those things over, and that's what I'm starting to do now to like see that stuff. Basically, it's just like a more in-depth P&L profit and loss sheet for the business. But I need to do that because I need to know that we're doing these things right, because like the constant stress of, I have employees and like I have to make sure that they have a job and I can't mess that stuff up. It's a lot of pressure and responsibility. So I'm trying to make sure I'm good at it. I feel like we're good about it, but yes, the bottom line is I do analyze those things, and I'm hyper analytical of that stuff. Also, like processes and procedures, like Dan said, things as simple as changing up a grit, like it'll save you so much.
Yeah.
That's what those machines do. It's good. You got to look for things like that, especially when you're batching stuff out. I mean, I've got a contract with a big national retailer, and they cut projections on me. And honestly, like the job isn't even worth it anymore. Like I ran the numbers on this most recent order I got for it, and I'm like, oh man, I'm literally not making any money on it. Like after I pay my employees, my margin is like 0.1%. So that means we have to make 0 mistakes during fabrication for me to make 0.1%, to profit 0.1% after.
And the odds of that are pretty.
Oh, there's already a mistake.
Yeah.
We're at the finishing
He's
process.
already negative.
we're at the finishing process, and I'm like, oh, the guys they need these front lips and the piece, and they put ash instead of white oak on one of them. So we have to rip it off and redo it, and it's super frustrating. So
I feel
so yeah, it's just one of those things where you got to evaluate those things. So I mean, super long answer. I do this often. This is why I don't do Etsy. I have a specific dollar amount that my shop has to make per hour. And like, there's a certain, like Dan's got a more flexible situation. So it makes more, it's good for that. Dan's situation is more flexible. Yeah. Dan's situation is more flexible right now. And he's able to take on, I liked doing those things. They were fun, other than having to deal with like the dummies on Etsy. Like Etsy dummies are unbelievable.
Don't
but
even
like,
get me started.
It's just like the worst clientele on the planet. But like actually making those things are fun. Like I kind of miss doing some of those smaller runs of things, but I can't even justify it anymore. Like we have to hit a certain, like I can't even look at projects under a certain dollar amount. And I won't go into that, but like I can't look at them anymore. Like I have to be like, nah, it's not for me. So it's just a weird position to be in. So yeah, constantly evaluating that stuff. And like even if we were like had a tough month, if I took on that work, it would put me in a worse situation than if I hadn't taken on that work. It's such a wild place to be in, like taking on, like you'd think in your head, like, oh, well, any work is better than no work. And it's like, no, sometimes it's actually not better than no work. Sometimes it actually hurts things really bad. So anyway, hey, I just got a sale on Etsy. That's cool.
Yay.
It's like
You're the
only
devil.
digital files. It's like literally that's all I get. It's like
I need to put up more digital files.
it's like $900 a month in digital files over there.
That's
no,
a
I
cup
love
of coffee a day.
No, at $900 a month for digital files, I'm super happy about it. Are you kidding me? That's great. That's great. That's solid. I'll take
That's
that
a one
any
and
day.
done thing. You don't even have to do
Yeah,
it.
that pays for like, either the CNC.
Although
or
you
truck,
get the
whatever.
you get the rando from Etsy. There's like, well, I was expecting an insert. No, you
I
bought the digital
expected an
file
entire
for
flat slab
$5.
flattening jig
Whoa,
for
whoa, whoa.
$3.99 shipped to my
Doesn't
house.
come with a saw stop for $3.
I had a guy buy a digital file for a miter saw insert, and he was expecting the miter saw.
Like, bro,
I believe it.
you're literally
story.
dumb.
True
Yeah,
story.
Sorry, bud.
You're the dumbest person on the planet.
But you know
Anyway,
who's
that's-
not the dumbest person on the planet?
Patrons.
Our patrons are amazing. And so not
Dr.
the dumbest.
Porkenheimer. He
Doc-
makes the
Dr.
best
Porkenheimer.
boner juice on the planet.
Top tier middle grade patron. Top
Top tier
or
middle grade. That's
middle
my favorite.
tier top grade patron.
What?
I
What
don't
is
know.
happening? I don't know.
I don't know.
Pete sloshed, guys.
Upper
He's
middle
had like
class.
17 bourbons, and he tried
It's
to
his,
fight.
it's his birthday week.
I've had 7 beers. Okay.
Oh, near beers.
I don't know, but they're 60-minute IPAs. They're
Oh,
strong.
those are real beers. They're strong.
They're- oh, it's only 6%. That's like coward numbers. Whatever.
Oh,
Okay.
But Mike, as a birthday gift to me, can you do one favor for me?
Hmm.
Can you do the outro?
sure. Right now?
I mean, whenever you're ready for it.
Sure, I'll do the outro.
Are we?
Yeah.
Is,
I mean, we
is this
actually
Pete's
are
way
at
of saying
another-
we need to shut the show
no,
down?
Well,
guys, I'm gonna pass out. We
You
need to
took-
do the outro.
Oh no, I am wide awake. I am wide awake, which
clearly.
is
Owakas are
Australian
my
for
favorite
awake.
characters in Star Wars, the Owakas.
Yeah, Awakas. They're their own planet and everything.
They're the Owakas. They're so good. Yeah, Dan, you want to like talk about your like other ways? I mean, that's pretty interesting. Your ways you've optimized your shop for Etsy and stuff like that. I think that's where, I mean, we're early on time here. I mean, is there something?
Oh,
you
yeah,
We
wanna-
no,
are.
you can
I
keep
don't know why
going. Yeah,
Pete's trying to shut it down.
Oh no, because
It's
I
very
thought
awkward.
Mike was like shoehorning us into the outro and was just
No,
trying to
not
get
at
us
all.
to shut up. Okay, in that case, let's talk Etsy. So step
Yeah.
1.
Dan,
Dan, go.
what other things have you done like that'll help? I mean, other than learning 2 years into it that you can have use pirate ship.
Pirate ship has been super helpful.
Isn't it great?
I will say it's bitten me in the butt a few times. So I build in the shipping costs for those C tables that I sell. I sell probably 10 of those a month now, which isn't it's not like
that's great.
amazing numbers, but it's nice. And I build in the
3,000
cost for the shipping of those things. However, I don't factor in that I'm going to ship a lot to Alaska. I've shipped 2 to Alaska this month. What the heck?
You need to change that in the listing, dude.
Dude, I shipped one to Anchorage, Alaska, and with pirate ship and everything, it was still $150.
Come on, stop
Holy
buying
smokes.
stuff up there.
Good Lord.
Come on, he's got like that'd be so funny. to
Why are
troll
people
Dan
in
that way.
Alaska buying these
There's like
things?
there's like a post office in Juneau with like 40 of them just waiting for someone to come grab them.
Yeah, pirate ship has helped a lot, but I think the second CNC has actually been crazy helpful because we can do inserts all day long on the smaller CNC, and I can utilize the bigger CNC, the Journeyman, for my harebrained ideas or the C tables, because we cut all the C tables on the CNC now. I'm not batching out those C tables with the box joints on the table saw. That's just ridiculous. So we cut them all out on the CNC. So
Wouldn't
that's
it be
been
faster on the table saw though? If
no.
you had that, like if you bought that iBox jig,
I mean,
you're
yeah,
so quick.
maybe, but
I mean, that thing's like $200, dude. If you bought that thing and you had I feel like you could do them way faster on that
No.
than the CNC.
I can do a panel in 10 minutes on the CNC.
I feel like you could do a panel on that thing in like 1 minute.
But here's the thing: I can stretch and do whatever I need to get whatever size I need, because I do allow people.
The cut.
I do allow people to make a custom size, because not everybody's couch is
a lot.
Yes, not everybody's couch is the same. So when you stretch the width in a spire, everything kind of like stays the same. So the gap remains the same and everything stays tight, and I don't have to worry about it. So it's
okay.
That makes sense.
It's pretty simple on the CNC. Yeah.
Yeah, robot does it.
And other than that, my shop isn't really like maximized for Etsy. I think the grit on the drum sander is probably like the biggest thing I've done in the last 5 months.
So I kind of want to talk about this because Mike brought up a good point, and you did too, Dan. It's like, he's asking you like, how have you optimized your stuff? And well, almost everything you make, aside from digital files and a couple of offhand things, it's still, despite the CNC, requiring a lot of input from you, right? Like some kind of finishing, sanding, setup, cutting out, so whatever. I have a full-time job. It's hard for me to get in a shop some days. Yeah, I do. I have a strawberry shop that I sell strawberries on the side of the road.
That's nice.
Depends on what's in season. So basically,
honeydew melons.
No, that's the devil fruit. No, but the thing is, I have
boobs.
Since the beginning.
Get them out of here.
Like my whole thing, and I've always felt very awkward about talking about this, because my brain thinks of it as, because I grew up in like, well, if you're not moving, you're lazy, like that type of mentality, because that's just how I grew up. Like if you're not working every day of your life and then you die one day, like you're a lazy person. So I always think of it as the lazy way, but in reality, it's just trying to be the most efficient as possible. I went into small scale manufacturing because I like that I can design something and then a robot or a machine can pump it out with minimal input from me. And that's why Mike's CNC business has blown up and allowed him to like be more efficient with other stuff he does. But like the thing is, I've been trying to find a way to make like 3D print stuff, design it, and I just print it and pre-print it sometimes and have it ready. So when somebody orders it, I just grab it off the shelf and throw it in the box.
I do that with the bow ties.
Yeah, and it's a great way to be efficient. When you offer too many choices, sometimes it slows you down. So sometimes you have to dial it back. Like I have people that ask me all the time that are like, not all the time, but like that have asked me multiple times, hey, how come you don't offer the DeWalt in yellow and Milwaukee tool holders in red?
Oh yeah, because of the time.
The time, I have to stock the different colors. I have to make sure I have the supplies, whatever. But I can just
do that with that X1 now. I'm legitimately asking. I don't know. If
I totally can, because it has the tool changer. But the thing is, like, that's become my prototype machine. I use it for daily printing for stuff I want. But all the parts that I'm churning out for people are still getting printed onto Prusas, because they're all on an SD card that it's a master. It's got all the daily prints that I need to do. Everything I sell is on one SD card that's cloned 12 times for every printer. So I just have it ready. So like thinking of ways you can be the most efficient, like making a laser cut file, and I just go in and I cut one or I cut 5. It doesn't matter. It costs me almost nothing in extra time, because I can just press play on a laser, and whether I'm cutting 1 or 5, I'm able to step away for actually more of the time if the laser's cutting longer and work on something else, and then they're all ready to go. So there's ways to like make yourself more efficient if you can find a way to make the machines work for you. But if you get yourself too heavily involved in the process, you're losing your hourly rate. And I didn't learn my hourly rate until I really got to know Mike, because Mike knows his hourly rate for every part of the process, whether it's sanding, milling, whatever. He knows what his time is.
I know my hourly rate.
I know, but like
Mike's very
oh God. Oh,
not even
enough to buy a Casey's pizza.
Yeah, 1 a month. That's it. But like Mike has a great way of like, he literally tracks all of it. He found a way to calculate all of his time, and I can sell cutting boards. I can do inserts too, and bow ties and all this stuff. No, like not
You better not do inserts. I'll
not
come
Dean and
after you.
Dan, but like there's plenty of stuff that I make all the time for other customers that I have no interest in making one-offs when a customer orders it, because it'll take me 2 hours or 3 hours to make it, and then I'm going to sell it for $30.
Yeah, I get requests like that all the time. Hey, can you do a one-off insert for this saw that nobody else has because it's 30 years old?
Yeah.
No, I can't. I mean, I could if we talk back and forth and I got all the measurements and
yeah,
but
exactly.
it's just not worth my time. So I just say, no, I can't.
Exactly. And then
I
long
can't even
story
like
short
charge.
is,
I can't even. Sorry, good.
you no, I just to Mike's point is like you have to make sure it's worth your time, because too many of us are making cutting boards out there, and each cutting board's costing us 2, 3, 5, 12 hours because we're not good at it or we're not efficient with our time. If you spend 2 hours sanding a board to perfection and get the glass finish, and then you sell it for $90, you're literally negative.
That reminds me, I just watched a YouTube video and I can't remember who it was, but it was a woodworker, and he was talking about how he got his business to be $1 million business, right? And I watched this whole thing, and he's talking about how the only people that care about the finish of a cutting board are other woodworkers. He sands his boards to 120 and he doesn't even finish them, and he sells hundreds and hundreds a month to people that don't know any better. People that don't care. They're not woodworkers. They don't care about the finish. They just want something that's wood and pretty.
I mean,
that mindset is like foreign to me. I
know your end user for sure. I mean,
know your end user, know your worth. You know,
I'll have to find that video and send it to Pete. Maybe he.
It's really hard for me to take a job that I can't bill a whole day for. I can't go less than a day on a billing. Like, it's really hard for me to go less than a day, and that's $1,200 for a day's work. So that's what our rate is. I mean, I'll just be straight up with the numbers here. Like, the shop rate is $150 an hour. That's what we're at now. I charge $150 an hour, and it's like I bill everything. I don't even, like, Pete was in my pricing class. Everything was done by I don't even do it by the hour anymore. I do it by the day now. Like, it makes it so much easier. Like, that's a day's work. If I look at something and go, that's 2 days work. And
you have to be brutal with it. Like, if you're trying to run it like a business,
I'll go out of business.
Like, with the numbers.
Yeah, you got employees you have to pay. You have marks you have to meet. Yeah,
it's just like you feel bad, but you can't. Like, you have to be like, I mean, I understand it. Like, that's a lot of money for a nightstand. Like,
we all have hobbies. Whether you want to play the new Zelda game for 8 hours a day for the next month, or you want to go make a bunch of cutting boards, whatever, that's up to you. And like how you use that time. No, I know, but like, or GTA for you. But like how you use that time, it's fine. You can totally make a bunch of cutting boards at no profit. It's still money. Like, it's your time. You chose to use that time for that. But if you start thinking of it as a business, you really got to start looking at those numbers.
That's the problem with woodworking, is when it's not the problem with woodworking. That's the thing with woodworking, is when you're trying to do it as a business, it's probably like this with every other thing that's done.
It absolutely is.
But like, there's always someone who will do it for cheaper. And so
I ran into that in the photography world.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Like, you have to take yourself out of that market. Like, I don't want to sell cutting boards because I have to sell one for like $500 for it to make sense. Unless I'm selling 100, then I can do them for like $60.
I said this a month ago, but I was like, whether you make 1 or 10, it almost takes the same amount of time.
Yeah, like for a cutting board, it's just, you might as well. At that point, you're just like a little bit more money in wood. So
I ran into that problem in the photography world. I shot weddings for a living, and I averaged probably $3,000 to $3,500 a wedding. And often I would get people that responded to my emails or my phone calls or whatever, and they would say, well, my cousin has a nice camera and they're going to do it for $500. It's like, okay.
Cool. Why did you reach out to me? Have a great day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Like,
it's the same thing in woodworking.
I'm going to do it better.
It's the same thing in woodworking. Me down
on the price. Get out of here.
It's the same thing in woodworking. I'm doing woodworking as a living. This is my job, but you are also competing with the hobbyist that is just doing it for fun, and they don't have to make a huge profit. It's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's really, really like, I love the woodworking community, and I love that so many people are doing it. It's such a great thing. It's brought so much to my life. it really is very frustrating when I'm trying to compete with someone who's selling something for so cheap. And then I see these things sometimes. I see the things they make and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that is worth that price that they charge. And it's bad.
But here's the thing.
So
Here's the other thing. You know what you're looking at, but clients don't always see the little imperfections that you see.
No, for sure. But I think that there is a clientele that you need to get yourself to, and it's hard to do that.
That's the trick.
Money is not an object, and they want the best thing. And typically that means the more expensive price, but oftentimes they can suss out who's a scam artist and who's not. And that's typically where you're going to find people who, I mean, some people know. I mean, they're buying these expensive things and they know what's a good piece of whatever it is, whether it's woodworking or metalworking, or they know quality. They just know quality. So, sometimes there is a large group of people, and I don't want to call this person out specifically, but there's a large group of people who
I find it was me. It was me.
No, there's a large group of people who just, like, it's what Dan said, whoever that YouTuber was, I don't know who it was, but they don't know about what a good piece of wood should look like, or what a good piece of furniture should look like. So they see this, there's someone who sells in our community, and they sell really poorly made pieces of furniture that are fundamentally not soundly constructed.
I mean,
but they do it on volume.
Yeah. Yeah, but didn't Izzy do he did like a post or a video about you can make $100,000 a year selling cutting boards. I feel like Izzy did that video, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, you can make $100,000 selling.
But here's the thing: sure. Does Izzy make $100,000 worth of cutting boards every year? No, you can. That doesn't mean you should. I can make $100,000 pressure washing driveways. Yeah. I don't do that because that's
more money in that than
honestly than cutting boards.
Yeah,
less overhead.
It probably is.
It all depends on what you want to do. Like, you got to find the right market for you and what's worth it for you, and also if you enjoy it. Because if you just like really enjoy milling lumber, you're like love 90-degree angles, that's your thing. You probably want to make cutting boards all day.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing wrong with that, by the way.
This conversation is not to talk about cutting boards.
Not to talk bad about it, because
because I make them still. I
make them all the time for events. Absolutely.
I love making them. I don't want to make them for money anymore. There's no fun in it for me for money anymore.
That's what it is. It's like they're fun to make for yourself or for a friend or whatever. You get to play around with designs.
I'm gonna go make some this weekend.
But if you're trying to make rent and employee payroll, that's no. You're not doing that.
I have no desire to play that game, so it's just not something that I want to deal with. But the point isn't that. There are people who make really great cutting boards who make really good money, and
Ginny and Davis.
Feldhaus.
They do. Yeah.
Feldhaus
makes great, beautiful boards. There's other people who make beautiful boards. This isn't about boards.
This is not a diss on anyone making cutting boards. We're just making
it's not a diss about anything.
Yeah.
It's more of a conversation about like knowing what your company can and your business can and can't do. Is that what the conversation was? Or did I don't
know. I think we've gone way into the weeds.
Well, it was like,
we're way into the weeds.
How to make like Etsy efficient and stuff, but like
you need to know what your company is best suited for. That's the really important thing. And the question about looking at costs and what you
cost analysis and all that stuff.
Cost analysis and stuff. I mean, it all kind of ties back in. The point is you need to be able to do that stuff and look at things and go like, does this make sense for me to do anymore? Yeah. And sometimes it just doesn't anymore. And sometimes you just have to pivot. Yeah. That's just how it goes. And it's okay to means change your business. Growing. Yeah, it means that you're growing or not growing or just doing it. It doesn't mean if you're growing, it may not mean you're growing. It may mean that you just hit a new market, like randomly you put out one random product. All of a sudden now you're mostly making baseball bats. Look, if you have like a machine, like where you're just like, that's cutting out all these baseball bats, and like, let's say you make one random thing and it hits a niche market. Like if I had a niche market thing that hit, you bet we're going to retool. We're going to figure out how we can make these the most efficient way possible to maximize the profit and sell these things as quickly as possible.
Coffee custom cornholes.
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like, so this is a concept that the three of us have a hard time grasping that the average bear can understand. And that is free time, right? Like we don't have free time. I have
a lot of free time.
Well, but like we're very bit. We fill a lot of our time, and when it's free time,
I work
a
in
lot
free
of
time.
times-
Don't put
all right,
me
so
into that.
Mike and
that group.
myself, even when I'm off, like when I'm off the clock, whatever, I'm free. I'm thinking about the things I want to do. The thing is, like, there's people out there that don't have any hobbies, businesses, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, they don't have hobbies, businesses, they have nothing else going on, and they're just like, I clocked out of work. I have from 4 p.m. till I fall asleep at 11 to do something that's, 5-6 hours. What do I do? And they're just going to make whatever. And like, you can make $500 a week, let's say making cornhole boards, right? But if you're putting in about 30 hours on those cornhole boards for that $500, is it worth it? It's worth it if you have the time and you're fine with it. And like, I'm enjoying it, whatever. But it's, we're talking having the time and versus hourly rate for a business. So keep that in mind as we were talking about all these numbers, because it's totally fine with like, I have 5 extra hours every single day that I have nothing to do. My wife's at work. I'm just sitting in a shop and I'm bored.
Yeah,
I'm
if you
gonna
have a
make whatever.
family,
Yeah.
you're taking that time away from your family.
Exactly. So it's all the pros and cons. So, it's hourly rate versus free time. And there's nothing wrong with using that free
There's
time.
no such
to
thing
make
as free
whatever you
time.
want.
Time isn't free.
You can make a 50
Time
hour
is the most valuable
and-
thing you have.
Yeah, 50-hour cutting board. Make a video about it. Take your time with it. Really enjoy it. That's totally fine. Nothing wrong with it. But if you're trying to make a business, it's just going to be hard. That's
All right. Anyway, you guys, I hate to like stop you all, but I have so
to poop.
I don't know if no.
Oh, okay.
Like I started a race group with my trail boss, and I have to get to the DMV to get my race card. So
Big thanks to all our
wrap this up.
patrons. We really appreciate you guys so much. We hope to make a better version of ourselves for you. And Dan's going to do that by picking up his race card. Anyway, we're going to be.
It's got
here
racing
next
stripes.
time.
Yeah.
The race card has racing stripes.
What color is the card?
Oh
White
no!
with black
Oh no!
stripes.
No!
What?
Oh no!
That was a trap,
Big
Dan.
thanks
You
to
fell
the
into it.
patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting
It's
us every week.
AWP colored.
Make sure you share the show and put it in front of your friends and make sure that they know that it exists.
Oh,
so
gosh, they're gonna hate this episode. Don't do that.
Oh,
I'm sure
no.
grandma knows about us.
Oh no! Let your grandma know. Grandma's a bit. She's all about the AW penis. Anyway, check everyone out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and
Some of the
Pinterest.
top tier
Is TikTok?
patron.
Everyone's still doing TikTok? I don't know anything about that.
Yelp.
I'm on TikTok. I'm
Yelp.
huge over there.
Leave us a review.
I have
Make sure to review
140,000
the show.
followers on TikTok for
Leave
some reason.
us
I don't know
a
why.
Review. That's right. Leave us a review on Yelp.
Make
That's
sure it's
the
vague
real-
and confusing.
that's
Oh,
the
we
real
haven't looked at
driver
the
of
Yelp
traffic.
reviews in a while. We should
That's
probably
a good
do that.
idea. We probably shouldn't do
And
that.
nothing
Next
about
week.
curing ailments. That's a bit from 2022.
Everyone, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Have a great week. Talk to you next time. Toodaloo. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
See
Bye.
Love you long time.